I think lawn culture, like front lawns, they're ruining society.
Welcome to Lez Angeles, your local Sapphic classifieds, where we feature the hottest, coolest, smartest, most awesome single queer women in LA.
Every week on Lez Angeles, we talk dating, connection, and the struggle of trying to find love as queer women in a city where everyone is hot and no one is emotionally available.
We're your hosts. I'm Ruby.
And I'm Vanessa.
We're queer matchmakers, business partners, and full-time cat moms.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode.
Today's guest is Lena. She's funny, she's worldly, and she might just take you to the moon on your first date if you play your cards right.
We know that you're going to fall in love with her immediately. And when you do, you can submit to date her at lezangelespodcast.com. Finding your wife really could be that easy.
In this episode, we talk with Lena about the pros and cons of living in a commune, whether Google Maps is one big conspiracy theory, and which balloon animals she will and won't make for you.
Before we start, make sure you follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. We're on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
Okay, let's get into it.
Welcome to Lez Angeles.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lena. You are Ruby's friend. How do you and Ruby know each other?
We started doing improv together many moons ago, like 8, 9 years ago.
This is the first time that I've been outed as an ex-improviser on
I'm
the
sorry.
podcast. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. But yeah, I think it was
Come out, yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We joined a group together, a practice group. And I remember thinking, Ruby's cool. I like the sweater she's wearing.
You thought that, huh?
Yeah, I thought that.
Wow.
I thought Ruby was cool and confident. And then, like, once I got to know you better, I was like, wait, she's insecure? That's crazy because she seemed so chill.
Wow. Okay, that's news to
That's
me.
something you should think about. Yeah.
Lena, Ruby told me that when she started doing improv, she was really desperate to make friends. So she would ask everyone in improv class to hang out with her. Is that how this started?
No, because it was like already a group and we all were desperate to make friends. So it was like, hey,
okay.
anyone want to go to the show at UCB next weekend?
Yeah, that was my situation when I took my first improv class, and Lena and I met when I was in my second improv class. And because because we were on a team, I no longer had to do that.
It was like built-in friend group.
Yes. And we started with like 12 people and then we ended with 5, I think.
We had like a few guys there and they all left. They were like, I can't.
Do you remember finding out that each other were gay?
I do.
Really?
Well, it's so funny because it's like that team, when we formed, we all identified as straight or like outwardly.
Outwardly,
I think some of us had like, there was a variety of stages we were all in, I think.
Yeah.
And I completely in the dark. I think I was the first one to openly come out. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Because it was like you started having a crush on a friend and you're like, I'm confused. These aren't just friend feelings. And we helped you work through that. Yeah.
Yes.
It was cute.
Really did. That improv team was like pretty instrumental for me because I really had to process out loud what was going on, and everyone was incredibly chill about it, which was definitely what I needed. And like in retrospect, it's because everyone was queer in some capacity.
Yeah.
Or almost everyone. Yeah. We got one holdout. Yeah, it was huge for me, I think, having you guys to bounce my questioning feelings off of.
Yeah, and you just set off a chain, you know? Here's my journey is one, ironically, my boyfriend at the time was also in our improv group for the first like year, I would say. And then he dropped out. I think since like high school, I was like, I think I'm probably bi. Like, I think everyone's a little gay. And I would even say that like confidently to friends. I was like, everybody's a little gay. And I would call it my gay theory. I was like, guys, I have a theory about gayness is that if everyone just let go of labels and like didn't have that social conditioning, we'd all be a little gay. And I thought I was so like high-brained, you know, and it's like, girl, you're bi.
Ruby and I have talked about how bi people, people that date multiple genders or pan people, you have to make a really conscious effort to date a woman. Like you have to be like, I'm not going to date men right now, or else you will just end up dating men because it's so much easier because they're so, in my opinion, they're just so much thirstier that they like will always follow through on a date or like they will like make the
Hmm.
effort. So if you like aren't exclusively focusing on non-men, then you're just going to end up with a man. I feel like it's just too easy.
Society makes it so easy to like even like I started a new job recently and people are asking you questions to get to know you. So they're like, "So, you dating anyone? You have a boyfriend?" And it's like, "Why did you ask if I have a boyfriend?" Like you don't know what my situation is.
What does your life look like right now in terms of jobs, passions, hobbies, things that you love?
I think I'm actually in a really good place in my life.
You
If you had
love.
talked to me like 6 months ago, I would have been like, everything sucks. Nothing's going right. Because I was going through a really long bout of unemployment, and it's been a historically difficult time for people who aren't employed. I managed to get a job a few months ago. And it was a great, thank you. It was a great development because I kind of switched, I pivoted careers. And so this is like my first job into transitioning to that. So that felt like a big win for me. I started a podcast around the same time. During my unemployment, I was like, I need to do something creative because I'm just tired of feeling like the world won't let me. You know what I mean? Like I was asking for someone to give me permission to do it. And so I started working on this podcast called SmoochFest, which Ruby has been on to talk about iconic kissing scenes in pop culture, amongst other things. And so, like, it was like at the same time as I was working on that I got the job. So all of a sudden, I was like busier than ever, but in a good way. And then, Nell, come here. I got a dog 2 weeks ago, and I'm just obsessed with her. You're my girl.
Oh my God. A
Oh,
perfect angel.
This is
a little
Nell,
baby.
Oh my God,
my
she's so
dog.
cute.
Well, I'm a blushing new mom is basically where I'm at in life right now. I love her so much. She's such a cuddle bug.
What kind of women and non-binary people do you usually gravitate towards when you're
I
dating?
don't really have a strong physical type. Like I kind of go for all sorts of different looks of people, but I like an artsy person, someone who's got lots of hobbies and likes to make things, whatever it could be. They could be into pottery, they could be into painting, they could be a writer. Like, I don't know. I just really like creative people and funny, kind, and community minded. Like, they care about what's going on. They're trying to find ways to be helpful in their community. That means a lot to me. Someone who's like excited about their life and what they're doing.
Do you have two truths and a lie for us?
I do. Let me see if I can deliver these in a way that doesn't give anything away. Okay.
That
I'm
is
gonna
the
be
hard part.
extremely neutral. Okay. I lived in 5 different countries before I turned 18. I can speak 4 different languages. In college, I worked as a party clown. Which one is a lie?
I think she may have, I think one of them it's in the numbers.
She's doing a quantity trick, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it really could be any of them then. There's no way you speak 4 languages. That's so many, especially for a white person, you know? That's so many
That's
languages.
hilarious.
I have to think it's the languages.
Okay.
Okay. I
Ruby, do you want to
think
guess?
like I said, I think it's in the numbers, so I think it's one of the first two. I want to say that it's the number of countries, and I almost want to say it could be more, but I think maybe it's four. I don't know. I think the first one's the lie about the countries.
Okay. Vanessa was right.
This is the first time I've ever won, ever.
That awesome. The first one I was actually trying to trick Ruby into thinking like I'm doing too many
Oh,
or too little.
Which
oh,
is
you
exactly what
that
happened.
nice, very impressive.
I can only speak like 2.5 languages. And
Okay,
like,
Now that surprises me because
basic, intermediate,
it's you speak English, obviously,
and
and
then
Portuguese.
Portuguese, and then some French.
Okay, let's say the countries that you lived in.
I lived in Rwanda, Ethiopia, Brazil, and Zimbabwe, and then US.
So for some reason, I thought that you had learned like multiple languages when you lived in Africa.
Well, French is spoken in Africa, not in those
Okay.
countries actually, but
Is it like a
that's where I learned
national,
it.
is it like the national language of a lot of African countries?
It is for a lot.
Okay.
But Ethiopia, actually, the main language is Amharic, which is similar to like Arabic or Hebrew. It's a really old
Oh,
language.
interesting.
It's very difficult.
I'm sure.
And I know words. I know some words, but I
Okay.
can't like, have a conversation.
Okay.
And then Brazil, they speak Portuguese, so that's where I got Portuguese. Zimbabwe was a British colony, so everyone speaks English. And then they
Oh,
also speak like Shona, and there's a couple others. But again, I only know a couple words. Shamwari means friend in
that's
Shona, which I think is a
nice.
nice word.
Do you identify with Katie Heron from Mean Girls because you grew up in Africa?
I identify with how everyone would ask me that question, like, well, if you lived in Africa, why are you white?
Ah.
Like every single person has made that joke with me, and I'm like, you think you're so unique, you know? My parents worked in international education. There are schools all around the world that are like English or American curriculum to service, international communities that live overseas, like USAID, UN, nonprofits. Those kids need to be taught in English so that they can go to college in America eventually. Because those families, they move around a lot. So that's kind of what the international school system was built for. But also, like, local kids will go to those schools too. It's just a big mix. But my dad was the school principal at every school I went to.
And how is
You
that?
crazy. I had a major culture shock moment. I was 14. It was my first time living in America and going to school there. Like I had gone back every summer to see family and like mythologized America. It was all about like when am I gonna go to the mall and go shopping? Like it was so commercial. But I remembered like feeling like, oh man, the kids in America are really mean. Like the sense of humor is so mean. It was all about like teasing people mercilessly. And then eventually I assimilated. I think that time is the early 2000s. I think humor in general was just really mean back then.
Do you feel like that contributed to you working as a party clown?
Taking it back. Two truths and a lie. I don't know if that contributed to me being a party clown. Honestly, that job happened for me only because a couple friends of mine in high school, like they got the jobs at this party company. And then when I needed a part-time job, they were like, we can get you hired at this place. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm good with kids but they would put us in costumes, and I'd do face painting and make balloon animals, self-taught through YouTube tutorials.
That's kind of
Really
impressive.
impressive. Which animals can you make?
A dog, a
Okay.
monkey, a flower, giraffe, a sword. Those are the main ones.
Those are pretty good
Wow.
ones.
People do really complicated ones, and I can't even begin to understand how that works.
Do you have a hill that you would die on?
I do. I think lawn culture, like front lawns, green grass lawns, they're ruining society. For many, many reasons. One, it's a waste of space. We're living in Southern California, which is a part desert. We're just growing grass that doesn't create food, doesn't really create a habitat really for animals. You see animals hanging out on trees and bushes and flowers, but not on the grass. You're covering it with pesticides. You're using so much water. It's a waste of water to keep these grasses going. And I just feel like we could be growing native flowers and plants that are like climate friendly to the area.
Mhm.
This is all coming from being in Arizona. In Arizona, it is a full desert. And so people's lawns are literally pebbles. Like they just cover their lawn in pebbles and have cacti sticking out of it. And it's like, yeah, we're not going to try to grow a lawn here because it's not natural. So when I come to California, I'm like, God, they're just these big ass lawns and they take so much to maintain. Lawnmowers, leaf blowers, noisy ass machines that we have to hear every single day. I really have a problem with hearing leaf blowers and lawnmowers every day because I'll go on a walk or something and I'll hear them on one side of the street and I'm like, oh God, it's Monday. It's the day they do the lawn stuff. And then I'm on another part of the neighborhood the next day. It's like, oh, well, now it's their day to do the stuff. So it's like you can't escape it. I just think it's dumb. I think it's colonial because also, guys, my last thing about lawns. They originated from royalty in like Europe, where they would like part of flaunting how much land you had was by creating these big rolling lawns that were used for nothing. Because it would just be like, look, I don't even need to use this space for
Mm.
farmland. It's just land. And that is kind of what that like concept came to America. And that was what became important for people to put in front of their houses. Like my ideal situation, I don't live in a house right now, but if I once I get a house, I would love to grow like food and wildflowers, wildflowers to like help prop up the bees and the birds, give them stuff to drink, and then plant, tomatoes, herbs, lettuces, whatever, and then whatever's left over, anyone can come grab it. Like it doesn't have to all be mine. Like we're looking ahead at a pretty bleak future with like climate change and everything like that. It's like we need to be able to have food that we can share, that we can grow, not at the mercy of grocery stores.
What would your feelings be on living in a commune?
I'm totally open to it.
Yeah.
I'm open to it within reason. I think what I would love is like I have a family friend. She lives in a compound in Arizona that's like a lot of townhouses. And
Hmm.
then there's a central community space with like a clubhouse, a big community kitchen and a dining area, a big lawn playground area for the kids to play. They have a little farm, they have a chicken coop. So it's like they have all this beautiful community stuff in the center. And the plan is like one night a week, everyone eats together. But apart from that, you still have your own home and your own like space. I love that idea. Love that idea.
It does sound
What
nice.
do you guys think? What are your views on
A
communes?
commune.
I would love to live in a commune. That's like kind of my dream situation.
I feel
Yeah.
like I have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
I like the one that you just described. That sounds very like idyllic. So I think it would sort of depend on the parameters of the commune. But I love the idea of like living close to people and like sharing resources because as you said, like that's probably going to become more and more necessary. I think there's like a study about the happiest people live like within 15 minutes from their friends or something like
Yeah, like
that.
walking distance from friends.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
agree.
I think if it's like associated with a cult, I'm gonna say def not for
I also
me,
think they can skew cult if you're
Yeah.
not
right?
thinking through
Totally.
it all.
Sometimes when I'm watching a cult documentary, I'm like, if I had been given the opportunity, I probably would have joined this cult. Like not
There's
knowing it was a cult.
like the one about
Which cult?
the Twin Flame Society or whatever. I was like,
100%
I
No,
that
could see
one.
being lonely enough that I just get convinced.
100%. They're talking and I'm like, that makes sense.
what?
And then
That was
like,
the craziest, the one
well,
where they
it
like
gets
forced people to transition.
I mean,
not
that's
that
when it
part.
started
That's
to
not
go
the
crazy. We're talking about the beginning, the
the
beginning.
beginning.
Should we do our Am I the Drama section?
So my Am I the Drama is from like a while ago. It's from high school. So when I was living in America, going to high school, I had my first boyfriend, my what do you call it? High school sweetheart. And we were obsessed with each other. We were besties. We were super in love. And then I had to move to Zimbabwe for the last 2 years of high school.
Ugh,
And that sucked, guys, because that's
I
like
would
major long
imagine.
distance. And it's
Hate when that
like,
happens.
we're going to be half a planet away from each other. Like, this just isn't going to work. It's 11th grade. I'm in Zimbabwe. We're emailing each other every single day.
Ooh.
We don't have good boundaries. You know what I mean? Like we're just like we're saying we're not in a relationship, but like talking all the time. Come springtime, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, I want to be with you. Let's just like be together long distance, whatever. I'm coming back in the summer. Like, who cares? Unbeknownst to me, a girl in my high school over there had a crush on him and they were kind of hitting it off. So I sent this email and then I like went on a trip or something. So I didn't have internet access for a couple days.
Did you
So
guys
I
have
just like,
cell phones?
yeah, but I wasn't making a long distance call to America with it. My parents were gonna get mad.
Were you texting? I can't like remember when
No
that was.
texting. And so I'm like waiting for his answer. And when I get back, he messages me that he's dating this girl. I was devastated. I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't freaking believe it. So I'm like, sad about that. But then fast forward to the summer, I go back to America. We're still friends. We're in the same friend group, whatever. So we see each other and it's like we're still so in love. Like the fireworks are there. But it's like a forbidden love because he's in a relationship with this other girl. And we hung out like a couple times. And then by the last time we like, I think we talked one-on-one and we're both like, this is crazy. Like I still care about you. And we both said that. And so I was like, ooh, you gotta break up with that girl. So he does. We decide to be together the next day. But yeah, so basically I stole my boyfriend back from this girl. That's the drama. I stole her back. I stole him back. But like, am I at fault because he was mine first? You know? That's the question.
I feel like that's kind of like a cool girl move. I'm not gonna lie.
Is
Like
it?
maybe I'm saying that as someone who probably would have been the other girl in this situation. But I think he's the drama here because
Uh-huh.
he got into a relationship with this other girl basically just because she was more convenient.
Mm,
And clearly he still had feelings for you
yeah.
and knew you were coming back that summer.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of just like him being a dumb dumb high school boy.
Yeah. Can't be alone for a second.
Yeah. Now, there's probably like a little bit of drama on your end,
Oh, I'm sure. I know
but
I was messy there.
I would I would say
Yeah.
he was the messiest. He was the real
Okay.
drama there. What do you
Okay.
think, Vanessa?
I think you were the drama, Lena. I
Oh
can't
my
I can't
God.
I can't blame you. I can't say
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the exact same thing, but I think that's why I think you're the drama because I can picture myself doing that like at that age. And
Yeah.
I can picture myself enjoying creating that situation.
Yeah, there was definitely a little of that there
So
was
I'm
like,
projecting on you, I think.
yeah, I'm like living out my Rory Gilmore fantasy, like
And it
just
must have made you feel really good that he
yeah.
did break up with her when you said break up with her. And you were like,
Yeah.
ooh, still got it,
He
you know?
still wants me.
Ruby, what's your Am I the Drama? I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, so the situation is when I moved to LA, so this was about 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago. When I moved to LA, my mom and my sister drove down with me to move here. I got us tickets to see a taping of American Idol. And they have like sections for like how they like whether they want you on camera or not. So we got like stuck up in the balcony because we were like old compared to what they were looking for. They had like a bunch of 12-year-olds who got wristbands and they were like right up front by the judges. And then they like stuck us up in the balcony. So we're not close, right? We're far away. But usually they'll have like a guest come on and sing a song or whatever because they got to fill an hour still. And so the guest that they had on was Jason Derulo.
Oh.
Jason Derulo.
Derulo.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
And so the situation is that he dated Jordan Sparks. I don't know if you guys remember
I
this,
remember.
who is notoriously one of the American Idol winners. And I love her. And they had dated and they had just broken up. I was like, how dare he be here right now?
In
Sorry, really
her
quick.
in her space.
Yes.
How old were you?
Oh, 24.
24 years old.
I'm
Okay.
an adult. I'm
Okay.
an adult in this situation.
Okay.
Um, and so he performs, and I'm overcome with rage. Now, I will say I like Jason Derulo. Like, I actually love his music. But in this situation, I'm pissed. And so I boo him.
Oh my God. Audibly.
And my mom gets so mad at me. Here's the thing, is he heard it and he looked up into the
No.
balcony and we had a moment and I saw it in his eyes. He knew. He knew why I booed him and he knew he shouldn't be there. He
Oh my
knew.
God.
He knew.
That's crazy.
So, Jason Derulo and I have had a moment.
That's pretty cool.
And I would like to think that I put him in his place that day.
I'm sure you would like to think that.
I would like to think that, yes. But my mom was really, really mad at me. And she was like, that is so rude. You can never do that again. Sometimes I just like have these situations where I'm overcome with the need to like let people know that I don't approve of their behavior. And this is the one and only time that I've acted on that. So like, what do you guys think? Am I the drama?
Yeah, but I love it. I freaking love it.
I can't believe you booed a performer as they were
Wow.
performing.
You sound like my
Wow.
mom.
My mom would say
Wow.
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
One time I told her that if I saw it, I would spit on him, and she was like, I would be so disappointed in you if you did that.
Really?
But she
No,
took
I
it
think
back.
that
She takes it back now.
good, good,
This
good,
was a
good.
long time ago. Oh my God. Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be though? You're singing on stage live
Someone
and
boos
someone
you.
boos you?
And this is
I
on a
would shit my
recorded
pants.
show.
But he knew why.
You know why? And honestly, no, here's the thing. If you had booed him at just a concert because you were pissed that he broke up with Jordan Sparks, I'd be like, okay, you probably shouldn't have done that. But I do think you kind of have some grounds because he is on Jordan Sparks' turf.
Wait, was she
Exactly.
there?
No,
But she won. This is her
it's
place. This is
her
where she
place.
started her career. It's like, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. It's like if Brad Pitt came and shat on Jennifer Aniston's morning show set. You know, like, what are you doing
Is it
here?
like
Go
that?
away. It's exactly like that.
Vanessa, do you want to tell us your conspiracy take?
So my conspiracy take for this week is that Google Maps is lying to us. And I think they are trying to distribute drivers amongst the city, amongst every city, in the way that they want. I do not think that they are showing us the fastest route or the route with the least amount of traffic. I think that they're showing
Mm.
us the route that they want us to take. And I think this because there's been multiple instances where I have accidentally missed my turn. And guess what? When we reroute, the ETA goes down. What the fuck is up with that? I did not choose on purpose the second or third fastest route. I chose the first most efficient route. That meant they knew that the whole time. And at any point, you could have rerouted me to give me a more efficient route, but you didn't want to. You wanted me to go this way so that you could send other cars this way. Who's choosing who gets the fastest route?
I I think you're onto something.
Thank you.
I really think I agree.
Okay, is there a possibility that perhaps
Don't say something rational,
traffic
okay?
has like changed while you were driving?
No, it's not
And so you
No,
could
possible.
I think Google for many years now has not been incentivized to make a better product because they
No,
are the
Mm,
monopoly, they are the number one. And so it's like certain things that should have been improved for literally
that's
the last
true.
decade just haven't happened because they don't need to. They don't care to, they don't need to. And yeah, I think that's why that's happening, and that's why Google search sucks now too.
And
Google sucks
shitification.
in shitification.
Yeah, you might be right, Lena. It might not be a massive conspiracy where people are like, I'm gonna make her take 5 minutes longer than she needs to. It might just be like a subpar product that they're not putting money into. That would
Yeah.
make a little more sense than like my theory, but
Mm.
what if there is like this like group of billionaires or just like rich people who have sort of like paid to make sure that you don't go. I love that I'm just like totally turning the opposite way and now I'm like deep in your conspiracy realm.
100%.
Who have like paid to make it so you don't go anywhere near like certain things like nicer
Hmm.
neighborhoods or like
I think
Hmm.
there's a little of that there too.
I feel
Monopolies are bad.
validated.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah, no,
are.
I think you might be onto something with the billionaires thing. Like there actually could be something with that.
should we try the MASH thing?
Yeah, let's try the MASH thing.
Okay. I love
So
MASH.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we're gonna try and play a game of MASH with you.
Okay.
Okay,
It's
so
important to know that this will predict your
yeah.
future. This will
Okay.
predict your spouse. This will predict your place of living. It's important that you pay attention
Okay.
because this is going to be important for you in your
Yeah.
future.
And
Okay.
and so someone who is interested in submitting to date you does need to be on board with all of these choices.
All of these factors, yeah,
Yeah.
that you
Okay.
end up with.
Okay.
Okay, so what are two options for a first date that you would like to potentially, or just two options that you want on here?
Two date places. Okay. Picnic in the park. Wait, I just thought of another one that's crazy. Go to space.
Wow.
Go to the moon together.
Go to space in parentheses, the
Moon.
moon.
Okay, two housing options.
The cottage from the holiday.
Hmm.
Kate Winslet's
Okay.
cottage. A tree house in a redwood.
Oh, you get one choice for your spouse.
Only one. Have you guys picked other people for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who could they be? Okay, I'm gonna pick my first gay crush.
Awesome.
Laura Prepon, who played
Ah.
Donna in that '70s show.
Speaking of cults,
Yeah.
Wait, was she in both?
Scientology. She's in Scientology.
Okay, two job options.
Okay. Cabaret singer, park ranger,
hmm, what kind of car do you want to drive? Two options for a car.
a friggin' Subaru Forester.
A frickin' Subaru Forester.
Ay, ay, ay.
And then the hamburger car from Good Burger.
Okay.
Right, so I'm just gonna write down tallies until you tell me to stop,
Okay.
starting now.
Stop. I'm so excited to find out my future.
Me too. This is going to be big for you.
It's gonna be so big. I hope I get that Good Burger car.
I'm jealous that you get to find out how your future is going to be, and I have no idea.
Maybe we can do ours sometime. All right, are you ready to learn your future, Lena?
I'm so ready.
Okay, so your first date with your future spouse will be a picnic in the park.
Yay! I don't get to go to space.
That sucks, actually. But you missed out on some good that's probably for the best. But
Because
you're
you
definitely
added
on a
some
picnic.
options
We
too that
have
I
some
don't see.
options that are
Okay,
like
that's
less
fun.
than ideal,
We
yes.
each contributed an option, and then you got to choose two. So
Okay,
there's four
cool.
total. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So your housing situation is you're living on the top floor in a 15-story walk-up in New York with no elevator,
Oh
no
my
air
God.
conditioning, and no pets allowed.
Oh my God, that's terrible. I have to get rid of my baby dog.
Well, no, it would just be like not allowed, so it would be stressful.
Okay.
We're gonna assume that you are keeping.
Yeah.
Ruby,
Um,
why would you add that as an
So
option?
I
rude.
did unfortunately add that one. But in an awesome twist of fate for you, you're married to me.
Whoa! Congrats, guys.
Amazing.
So that's obviously really awesome for you. Okay, your job is a cabaret singer,
Oh, hell yeah.
which that I mean that's fitting, right? We live in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized that I just screwed myself because I live with you, obviously.
You can't
So
have any
you have to
cats.
live in the friggin'
Oh
walk-up
my
with
God.
me.
Well,
No
also
elevator.
the good news is that like if a listener submits, they obviously take me out of the equation in a similar way to you taking out your ex-boyfriend's girlfriend from the
Oh.
equation. So that's exactly what they would
Whoa.
do to me.
Wow.
And you are driving a horse and buggy.
That's fun. I accept.
I'm,
And
yeah.
this like all weirdly kind of works
Yeah.
Does
because,
that work?
well, it
Oh,
sounds like
in New
maybe
York
as
City?
like a side hustle, you're doing one of those horse and buggy things. So yeah, this all kind of checks out. So that's your life.
We'll get one of those, the things that window cleaners ride on, those
Scaffolding.
lids. Yeah,
Oh,
we'll get one of those on the outside of our walk up that we can
okay.
take up and down as a alternate.
We're gonna be hiding a lot of pets between
Yeah,
us.
but that's okay.
That is
Can you
okay.
guys afford custom scaffolding on Lena's cabaret singer salary?
Well, we also
And
have
my
the horse and buggy salary.
exactly, I'm dripping in money. Tips, lots of tips. Well, thanks so much for having me, you guys. I host a podcast called SmoochFest, which is a celebration of kissing in pop culture. And it also goes behind like history and science of kissing and just anything you ever wanted to know about kissing. It's in that podcast.
Biologically, I've heard that we started kissing because it helped strengthen each other's immune system by exchanging bacteria with
Mm.
each other so that like you would get more immunity to germs. Is that true? Do you know?
You're sort of saying it in the reverse.
Oh,
It is, there's a lot of origin theories for like how kissing became a thing, but what you're describing is what happens when you kiss really good with someone. Like if you really gel kissing with someone, it's largely because your DNA, your bacteria makeup is just different enough to the other person that you are attracted to them because of that exchange that will strengthen your immunity.
I'm attracted to the difference in their bacteria in their mouth.
Yes, yes. It's
Whoa.
Ew.
like people tend to be attracted to people with different like bacteria and DNA makeup. That is a strong reason why you will at least feel physical chemistry with someone.
In the episode that I was on of Smooch Fest, you told me a very horrifying potential origin theory for kissing that you will have to listen to that episode to hear.
It's true. We
Oh,
discuss bonobos, monkeys, and how their kissing is similar to humans.
oh,
Mhm.
is it?
Yes. Bonobos are special creatures. They're lovers. They have a lot of things they like to do with each other.
Episode to
And you'll
hear
be
all that.
horrified to learn the details, which I share too much of with Ruby.
And you watch me learn it all live.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
SmoochFest Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and on we have a YouTube channel as well. But it's also podcast on Spotify, Apple, any of your audio podcast mediums.
Well, thank you for coming. We
Thank
love
you for
having
Yeah,
you.
having
thank you.
me. What a pleasure. I hope you find the love of my life. No
Us too.
pressure.
And that's it for today's episode of Lez Angeles. I'm really hoping you'll all quickly forget that I ever did improv comedy.
Huge thanks to Lena for joining us and teaching us about the history of kissing and lawns. And again, if you want to shoot your shot, you can apply to date her at lezangelespodcast.com. All of the details are in the description box below.
If you're not watching this episode on YouTube, you can go to our Instagram to see pictures of Lena.
And if you yourself would like to be a guest on our podcast, please DM us at Lez Angeles Podcast on Instagram, reach out through our website, or send us an email at costerandbrown@gmail.com.
Lena is making her selections on January 6th, but if you're listening to this later, don't worry. She's accepting late submissions if you make a really, really great case for yourself.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Lez Angeles Podcast, and don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen.
See you next Tuesday.